Dear students, welcome to NRS YouTube channel. So in the previous class we discussed regarding relationship between society and the environment. So in that we discussed various historic that steps taken by the man to destroy the environment, right? So that one by one we already studied. So one more point we have, that is fourth one, that is period of science, technology and industrialization, right? So that we already discussed, and we also discussed what is ecosystem, right? In the ecosystem, what are the different kinds of the biological components will come, right? So in today's class uh, we'll discuss regarding the components of ecosystem. So the components of ecosystem is mainly divided into two types. One is biotic and abiotic, that also we call it as living and non-living components. So again, in biotech we have three categories: producer, consumer and decomposer. And in abiotic we have inorganic, organic and climatic factors. So one by one we are going to study the types of ecosystem. So an ecosystem may either be natural or artificial. The natural ecosystem again can be divided into terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem. All these types of ecosystem are self-sufficient interacting systems in the biosphere, and these have a similar fundamental plan in their structure and the function, right? So the ecosystem is basically divided into two type. One is natural and artificial. And again, in natural, we have two categories, that is terrestrial and aquatic. It means ecosystem like land, forest, desert. So these are comes under the natural ecosystem. The artificial ecosystem like aquatic ecosystem, water related. So this is made by the man, right? Like aquarium, park, kitchen garden, cropland. So these are comes under artificial ecosystem. And natural ecosystem like grassland, forest, desert, right? So these are comes under natural ecosystem. So again, in aquatic ecosystem we have lentic and lotic. It means stagnant water like pond, right, which is man-made, and like river, stream, ocean. So there comes under aquatic ecosystems, right? So regarding these, yes, regarding these, we have the factor causing imbalance in the environment, right? So what are the factors which cause the imbalancing the environment or to destroy the environment, right? So human cause imbalance in the environment in two ways. One is direct and indirect. The direct or intentional impact are pre-planned and man is aware of the consequences, but still he has managed to imbalance the environment. So both positive and negative such changes include the following, right? So we have direct and indirectly a man can imbalance the environment, right? So directly in the sense, even though the man he's know the he has the aware of that, yes, so this is the thing, if it happened the environment will be imbalance, it may be pollute, but still he has to do that some kinds of work. So that is called a direct imbalancing the environment. And some we have that indirectly a man can make the imbalancing the environment as well. The first point we have that land use changes. uh, Clearing of forest and burning of grasslands for crop cultivation, and felling of trees yielding seeds, use of weedicides, pesticides, fertilizer, irrigational facilities, etc., are comes under land use changes, right? So they are both comes under direct and indirect. So it comes under, and I think it is a direct imbalancing the environment, right? So to know that man in his grassland or in for crop cultivation, he always looking about his that commercial purpose. It means how can I yield the crop, how will get the that economical growth point of view. He may use that pesticides, he will use fertilizers, he use to get the more cultivation, right? So yield, okay. So to get the highest yield, so he will go for these fertilizers. So because of all these, that land will be get problem. It means it is a direct imbalancing the environment by the man activity. Okay, so next we have construction and incubation. So construction of dams, reservoirs and canals, diversion and manipulation of river channel, construction of embankment and dike to protect the area from flood, construction of road, bridges, increase in urbanization, mining, drilling of mineral oil, so withdrawal of groundwater. So these are the things we have comes to imbalance the environment, right? So you can see the most of the time in today's that situation, that withdrawal of groundwater will be higher, so that it comes like yes. So these are the activities comes under that causing imbalancing the environment as well. So next we have agricultural practice. So in the agriculture practice like mechanization of mechanism like agriculture and uses of chemical fertilizers, pesticides and insecticides, right? So to get the highest yield, so the farmer can use the chemical fertilizers in his land and pesticides he use, and he can use so many that mechanisms of agriculture to get the highest yield. So it make him to the implement all these, and definitely when he is applied all these that chemical processes in his land, so definitely it can cause the destruction of an environment, right? So next we have weather modification program. So cloud seeding to induce precipitation dispersal and clearing of cloud and fogs, checking of hailstorms, etc. So the weather modification program, like that by using the satellites you can find out that whether rainy season, winter season, what is the temperature, and sometimes that whenever you will not get a proper rainy season, so that the the man can go for the cloud seeding as well. So these are harm to the environment, right? Next we have nuclear programs. Nuclear energy is being used increasingly for constructive as well as destructive purpose, right? So nuclear program and or nuclear energy test, right? Nuclear tests may have a maximum imbalance of the environment. This the cause of a nuclear program or nuclear test. It will be is a continuous process. Once you have tested the nuclear program or nuclear test, so during so many years that effect will be that it will be effect to the particular surrounding of hundreds of kilometers or 500 thousands of kilometers surrounding. So it will be affect for a long time, so that it's very difficult and very dangerous. Now that test we have, that is nuclear test. So because of this we disturb the environment as well. So these are the points we have. Okay, so next we have the effect of such anthropogenic changes in the natural environment are noticeable within a short period and may continue to affect the environment for a long time. And but these effects are reversible because man is able to set the adverse effects right to a certain extent. For example, deforestation lead to accelerate the rate of soil erosion, resulting in gully erosion and loss of soil fertility on the one hand, and enormous increase is sediment load in the river, so which cause several floods on the other land. These chain effect can be effectively stopped on the afforestation of the deforested area, right? So you may observe that so many that today's condition, we don't have a proper timing for the rainy season and winter season. So sometime we'll get a extreme rain, and sometimes we will not get any rainy season like that, and we sometimes we feel that extreme cold as well, so extreme heat we'll feel, right? So initially we'd have a proper timing for these all the seasons, three seasons, but nowadays it is, has been completely, it is changed, right? We can't predict that we this month completely we have this type of winter, or with this type of that environmental condition we have. So today's it is not, we can't able to predict these conditions. So indirect impacts of man on the environment are not premeditated and planned, and these arise from those human activity which are directed to accelerate the pace of economic development, right? So due to the economical development of man, so he due to his fulfill his needs, right? So he can make use of the environment, right? He can never bother about the environment as well. So as soon as when he able to get the resources from the environment, he may go for any type of processes. So he can't able to plan that it should not, we can't touch the balancing of the environment as well. So that majority of the indirect impact of human activity on the environment are related to pollution, which include soil, water, air pollution, and resultant environment degradation. The release of toxic element into the ecosystem through their uses as insecticides, fertilizers, etc., alerts the food chain and food web. Similarly, the release of industrial waste into the stagnant water, river, and seas and contaminate water causes several diseases and death of organism, and thus disturb the ecological imbalance. So due to ecological imbalance, the most of the today's manufacturing companies like sugar factories and aluminum factories, plastic factories, rubber factories, so many manufacturing companies, they release their wastes to the river, right? So definitely the ecosystem, the organisms which available in a river, which stays in a river, so it may be the death of organism will be happen, and it will be disturb the ecological system, right? So in the next class we'll continue one more point, that is natural resources and conservation. Thank you.